Well, I'm really embarrassed to tell this story of my ineptitude. Last night I did something really dangerous and stupid. But every year, over 250,000 people die by drowning and end up in a watery grave. And last night I nearly added to the statistics. We bought a narrowboat looking for a bit of adventure, and last night I really did have a bit of adventure. For 3 weeks we'd been moored into the jetty bow on because it was windy when we came back in, and my muscle memory had been used to getting out of the starboard door every day and putting my foot onto the jetty. But we prefer it stern in, so we turned the boat round. As always, the boat was lovely and cosy. The fire was roaring, and there was a cup of tea next to the fire when I realised, just as I was going to bed, that I'd left my laptop in the car at the end of the jetty. So I put my coat on, my hat, and my gloves, and got out onto the stern deck. It was 10:30 at night. It was raining outside, drizzly, dark, cold, bitter. The ice had only just gone from the surface of the marina. I opened the starboard door, put my foot out for the jetty that wasn't there, and my foot continued on down into its watery depths. I was very lucky. My head just missed the boat that was moored next door. I had my phone in my hand when I stepped out. That ended up in the bottom of the canal. As you probably know, cold water shock is pretty nasty and it can take your breath away. Well, indeed it did. I was wearing cut-off Wellingtons and a down jacket. The down jacket became like lead. My boots had filled up with water. I was looking for the step at the stern of the boat, which I got my foot on, but it was really difficult to pull myself out. So I thought I'd take my Wellingtons off. But then out of the dark came a young man walking up the jetty at that time of night. And he came to me and said, "Have you fallen in the water?" Well, I've got a good sense for humour. I was looking for something funny about the situation at the time, as it happened. But he helped me to slither out because I'd put my hand up to get a handhold on the boat. But we found we just had a cover fitted onto the boat and it was flush against the boat and there was no handhold. The water was up to my chest, but I waded towards the jetty. There are safety ladders jotted around the marina, but by the time he got one, I think I'd been in a pretty poor state. I got into the boat, took my clothes off in the stern deck, opened the door and surprised my wife, and then popped into the shower. And all was well. And now we've got a rope over the non-jetty side of the boat, just to make sure. So it didn't take long for the story to get around the marina to great amusement of all. But what was quite amazing was how many stories people had got about falling in the water, and some of the consequences were far more dire than mine. So I wonder if you've got any stories that would help other canal users to stay safe in future. Put them in the comments. So do take care out there. I'll see you out on the cut.